No society can function effectively without leadership, and Nigeria is not an exception. Modern-day Nigeria encompasses lands traditionally occupied by diverse ethnic groups and traditions. It may interest you to know that there are more than 200 ethnic groups in this great country, and these people have their traditional heads.
With independence in 1960, followed by alternating democratic and military governments, the status of the traditional rulers evolved even further. Welcome to our Nigeria. My name is Nasir Umar.
And I am Ijoma Okoronkwo. Our focus is on traditional rulers in Nigeria.
The first British High Commissioner for Northern Nigeria, Sir Frederick Lugard, ruled the north through the traditional rulers. And this is what is known as the indirect rule.
That's right, but of course we're now in the post-colonial era and a lot has changed since then. Awal is standing by to tell us more about traditional rulership in the north.
Nigerian traditional rulers often derive their titles from the rulers of independent states or communities that existed before the formation of modern Nigeria. Traditional rulers are the divinely ordained individuals chosen by their people to administer the affairs of their respective domains in accordance with their customs and traditions. One of the most developed characteristics of African civilization was traditional monarchical institution, which was well noted for its dynamism, resilience, and unending relevance. In spite of changes and modifications introduced by modernity, the traditional political institution has endowed all vicissitudes and has continued to redefine itself for more relevance. It has remained the predominant form of traditional political system in most Nigerian societies and communities. More so, traditional rulers have remained the traditional heads of ethnic communities whose tools conferred the highest traditional authorities on the incumbents since the time prior to the beginning of British rule in Nigeria. In northern Nigeria, traditional rulers are called emirs because they preside over administrative units known as emirates. The notable exceptions to these are Sokoto, Borno, Adamawa, where the titles are Sultan, Shehu, and Lamido respectively. Apart from these ones, there are numerous other autonomous traditional titles in the northern Nigeria, such as the Etsu among the Nupes, the Akuuka of Ukari among the Jikuns, the Bongom of Jos, the Totif among the Thieves, and the Ochidoma of Idomaland among others. There are different societies and ethnic groups in Nigeria with respective traditional rulers bearing different titles. Therefore, the traditional rulers can be classified into various stages. Those holding purely honorific titles bestowed on them by superior traditional rulers in recognition and appreciation of service the recipient had rendered to the community.
I will never give a title chief. Say because you have come to my palace, I say you are now Magajingari, or you are now Rafi Obasa, or this. Go to the village, go and do something important, provide them with an infrastructure that is worth 5 to 10 million, And it's them that will now recommend you that this man has done so we want you to give him title chief.
The title holders in this category have no executive functions whatsoever, but are important and good for channeling of communication with the mobilization of people whenever necessary. Another category are those full-time executive traditional title holders who exercise executive roles which obtained even before Nigeria was created. In practical terms, the emir is assisted by a council of chiefs chosen from among the nobility. Their major function is to advise and facilitate the execution of the emir's orders. Animals like horses and camels are an integral part of the royal traditional institution in northern Nigeria. These animals are also not an exception in the full decoration of an emir. They too are well adorned anytime a traditional ruler is to ride on them. In the northeast, the adornment of the shehus or maize, as the case may be, differs in such a way that their style of turban or regalia is mostly red cap called dara in Hausa language. The turban is simply done in a round form, not as big as the turbaning style found in Hausa land. Therefore, traditional rulers' adornment distinct from one place to another, just as cultures are not similar. The pattern of paying homage to the respective traditional rulers in northern Nigeria varies also from one area to another, although it is mostly done by bowing down to the floor before an emir with one hand or both raised and the four fingers folded, indicating mark of honor and reverence to a paramount ruler. This is done if an emir is seated or standing within or even outside the palace. But on some occasions, the homage can be paid while standing by his followers. While in the northeastern states of Nigeria, like Borno, Yobe, and its environs, homages are done moving towards the shehu, going down to the floor, while blessing seekers offer their head for the shehu's blessings. Nigerian traditional rulers are good in strengthening the code of peace and unity in the country. It is obvious that they are the major stakeholders in the democratic experiments as they continue to serve as the court clearinghouse for government initiatives in the local communities. Traditional rulers are also very central to every effort at mobilizing the citizenry towards effective participation in government activities. They encourage their people to discharge their civic responsibilities and lead campaigns for the elimination of unsanitary attitudes and practices that could impair the health being of the society. As cultural icons, traditional rulers are expected to play the central role of resuscitating cultural values in the promotion of unity, harmony, and mutual understanding. They also serve as peacemakers for nation building. The paramount rulers, as the custodian of the values of the past, the preservation of the present, and the eyes of the future, exercise powers broadly defined to mobilize the resources and potentials of the land to create a better society, preserve the present order by ensuring life more abundant, and indeed create a robust opportunity for a far much better tomorrow.
In Yoruba land, the Oba occupies a position of preeminence and is regarded as the ultimate lawgiver, second only to the gods. However, after a period of prolonged state formation, all Yoruba subgroups developed an elaborate system of administration.
Yes, of course, but it was designed and constructed around and about the passing of the Oba. Jacqueline is our guide on traditional rulership in the Southwest.
Before the advent of the British in Yoruba land, the Yoruba kingdom maintained an orderly and unified political systems. In the Yoruba kingdom, the word Oba means ruler or king. It is also common for the ruler of the various Yoruba domains to have their new special titles. In Oyo, the Oba is referred to as the Alaafin. In Ife, he is known as the Oni. Meanwhile, in Ibadan, he is referred to as Olubadan. As a sacred ruler, the Oba is traditionally regarded by the Yoruba as the chief priest of all the Orisha sects in his domain, although most of the day-to-day functions of these positions are delegated in practice to Babalawo. However, certain traditional rites of the Yoruba religion can only be performed by the Oba himself. The traditional council of the Yoruba kingdom is made up of Oba, who is the head, council of chiefs, kingmakers, the Baale, traditional army, and the religious cult. The successful selection and enthronement is usually followed with merrymaking. The Oba is adorned in royal garments such as embroidered crown with beads veil, foremost of a civilization at the highest level of authority. The crown incarnates the institution of royal ancestral force as well as other things that show the values of a Yoruba Oba. The Oba, being the overall head and symbol of authority in the Yoruba kingdom, commands enormous respect among his subjects. He is traditionally entitled to homages from his subordinates across all villages, as the Baale of each town and villages will pay annual homage to the Oba as well as receiving royal blessings. The people of Yoruba Kingdom hold the Oba in high esteem, hence prostrate at the sight of the Oba as way of paying homage to the royal father. The uniqueness of the Yoruba kingship can never cease to exist even in present political dispensation.
A program that showcases Nigeria in all its entirety and of course what makes us tick as Nigerians.
Maitama and Asokoro are in phase 1 area of Abuja city planning, which is divided into 10 districts.
On the left-hand side of our driving is Asokoro district, while the right-hand side is the Maitama district.
The Abuja Airport Road is located about 40 kilometers from the city center.
You need to stay with us to find out more. My name is Ijoma Okoronkwo and of course my co-host is right here.
My name is Nasir Umar. You are welcome. In the southeastern geopolitical zone, there were paramount rulers equivalent to Yoruba Obas or emirs in northern Nigeria.
But many Igbo-speaking areas did not have traditional rulers or a centralized authority because of the nature and character of the kinship system. However, in the post-colonial era, Ezes and Obis have emerged as traditional rulers in the southeast. Emeka does justice to this one for us.
Nigeria, a multi-ethnic society blessed with rich cultures. Culture being admired by people around the world. One of those cultural attractions is the traditional dynasty of the southeastern people. The symbol of the dynasty, who is a traditional ruler, is the custodian of the culture and traditions of his people.
He holds the mantle of the tradition of the place. It's a kingmaker. He's the head of the termite. All other hands, all other this thing, file behind the Eze. We have Eze, we have Uze, we have Ozo, we have Amala. All these constitute a palace. When you come to my palace, then you say Nze, Nozo, Namburichi. Now, that custom gives people pride of belonging. If you don't know the custom, you are not from this part of the country.
A traditional ruler is the head of a particular ethnic group, tribe, autonomous community, or a village. In Igbo land, a traditional ruler in most parts are known as Eze, while some parts they are known as Igwe. However, in Anambra State, Onitsha precisely, he is referred to as Obi of Onitsha. The wife of the traditional ruler is known as Ugoeze, and she usually accompanies the traditional ruler to ceremonial occasions. Traditional rulers are usually decorated with jumper, skirt, wrapper, and trousers, or preferably a long jumper that reaches the ankle. The traditional material for the jumper is mostly the ishiagu. His crown is with intrinsic design most times with a title. His hand fan on which the name and title is embroidered. special coral beads for the neck and hand. The staff of office given to them by government and the throne is specially carved with beautiful design. The palace of the traditional ruler is where he receives visitors and holds cabinet meetings. The traditional ruler's palaces in most times are filled with activities giving no room for dull moments. On special occasions, the Obi or Igwe displays his dancing skills before his subjects. With government's involvement in the affairs of the local communities, traditional rulers in Igbo land are divided into two classes. The first-class traditional rulers are the original traditional rulers in Igbo land, and their stool is hereditary. While the second-class traditional rulers are usually installed by government or higher rulers as a result of their exemplary roles in the society. Their stool is not hereditary. Traditionally, the office of the traditional rulers comprise of the Eze, otherwise known as Igwe or Obi, who is the supreme head in the cabinet, the traditional prime minister, palace secretary, also title holders and village heads with the title chiefs. Once a village head dies, he is succeeded by another person from same village, most times in order of seniority. On special occasions, the traditional ruler confers chieftaincy titles on people who have contributed to the development of the society. In some communities, the traditional chiefs are ranked according to class. They are the first-class chief, second-class chief, and so on. The traditional rulers command lots of respect. Before anything happens in the community or before any project takes place in the community, he is consulted. Being the head of the community, most times, homages are paid by way of special greetings. The subjects majorly wish him long life and prosperous reign. The men greet him with 3 backhand shakes or by bowing down, stretching their hand fans. Meanwhile, women kneel or bow while greeting. Apart from this way of paying homage, gifts are also presented for blessing as way of paying homage. In some communities, the traditional rulers act as arbitrators who settle disputes among their subjects.
All over autonomous areas, Eze is the head of peacemaking. You cannot take a matter except it's a criminal matter. A criminal matter cannot go to Eze. But any other matter pertaining to land, pertaining to marriage, divorce, pertaining to issue of having rancor, you must have to go to Eze. That is what the importance of having the Eze of autonomous community.
Having seen the importance of traditional rulers, one would imagine how a community would be without a traditional ruler.
From what we have seen so far, traditional institutions represent indigenous instruments through which various Nigerian people organize and manage themselves.
Traditional rulers, on the other hand, are divinely ordained individuals chosen by the people to administer the affairs of their respective domains in accordance with their customs and traditions. That's how it has been on Our Nigeria Today. See you again next time.